Earth, our planet, our home. Here we continue with our lives, dealing with our problems, appreciating its beauty. We look at the night sky. Some of us think about how it would be to visit each object. We imagine being able to travel through space and see them up close. So let's do it. Let's pause our lives down here for a moment. Let's leave behind our planet and embark on a journey through the cosmos. When we return, perhaps we'll see it in a different way. Our first destination will be the closest celestial body, the Moon. Bright and spectacular. It has generated many myths and legends. Its gravity causes high and low tides on Earth. It's full of craters. From up here, we cannot perceive their details. The scars left behind by millions of asteroids and comets that have impacted it for millions of years. Some are small and simple. Others are enormous, with diameters of tens of miles, punctuated with a peak in the middle that emerged when the material from the gigantic impact that formed it splashed back. Some are strange. The Moon has its own beauty. Ancient lava rivers, beautiful mountainous landscapes. Some compete with Mount Everest in height. 12 humans have left their footprints. As there is no wind to erase them, they'll remain there for millions of years. We barely left our planet. We can still see it at 240,000 miles. Our next destination is a bit further away. Venus seems harmless at first glance. On Earth, it shines in the morning in the east and in the afternoon in the west. Known as Earth's evil twin, it's almost the same size, but it's a toxic hell, incredibly hot and with crushing pressures on its surface. It's the hottest planet in the solar system, up to 471 degrees Celsius. So hot that it can melt lead. Its dense atmosphere traps heat. Here, it rains sulfuric acid, but it's so hot that the drops evaporate before they touch the ground. Spacecraft have only survived a few hours after landing in the planet before being destroyed. It's full of volcanoes. Lava flows carve huge meandering channels. Let's head towards the Sun. The closer we get, the more intense the heat becomes. But first, we have to make a stop. Mercury, the planet closest to the Sun. It's extremely hot, but also extremely cold. During the day, the planet can reach around 430 degrees Celsius, and at night it plummets to minus 180 degrees Celsius. Mercury is small in comparison to Earth, but has a powerful gravitational pull. It's very dense, almost as dense as Earth, due to its huge metallic core. The Sun is fascinating. We depend on it. It's our light, our heat, our energy. We are so far away that its light takes 8 minutes to reach Earth. It's huge. Around 1.3 million Earths could fit inside the Sun. It's very hot on the surface, extremely hot, more than 5,000 degrees Celsius. But this is nothing compared to its center. The conditions are hellish, around 15 million degrees Celsius. Besides that, the pressure is so extreme that hydrogen atoms fuse to form a heavier element, helium. In the process, a huge amount of energy is released, equivalent to detonating 400 billion 1 megaton nuclear bombs every second. If we move away a bit and block out all the blinding light, we can see the corona, a stream of subatomic particles that emanate from the Sun, extending for millions of miles. On Earth, it can only be seen during a total eclipse. The surface is chaotic. It's so hot inside the Sun that electrons are stripped from their primary atoms in the gas, creating what is called plasma, a gaseous soup of charged particles. Its movement generates a powerful magnetic field. The plasma glows from the intense heat, but as it cools down, it dims, sits on the surface, creating a dark spot. The plasma on the surface can also flow along magnetic circuits. The This can create enormous arcs of material. These fire arcs extend for thousands of miles across the Sun. If conditions are right, a giant short circuit is created. All that vast energy stored explodes outward, a solar flare. It's interesting to think that our lives depend on this hellish world. Mars, the red planet, has captured our imagination for centuries. It was once thought to be the god of war. How many science fiction novels and movies have been made about Mars? Today, it's one of the most explored worlds in our solar system. We have learned a lot. It's a curious world of diverse landscapes, a place where life may have existed. From here, the highest mountain in the solar system is better appreciated. Olympus Mons, an ancient volcano at 16 miles high, 3 times higher than Mount Everest. Imagine the view from the top. Valles Marineris has a depth of up to 6.2 miles. From east to west, it's 2,500 miles long. The Grand Canyon is tiny in comparison. We couldn't survive here without a spacesuit. The atmosphere is very thin. The pressure on the surface is less than 1% of Earth's pressure. The air is mostly carbon dioxide. During the day, temperatures can reach 20 degrees Celsius, but at night it plummets to -73 degrees Celsius. However, the atmosphere is substantial enough to interact with the surface. The winds blow seasonally, filling craters with dust. Also, it blows dust, creating beautiful dunes. In this world, sunsets are blue. The time is coming when humans will witness these sunsets in person. The Perseverance, in addition to searching for signs of ancient life, has been testing technologies that will aid human exploration. Many minds are working at this moment to bring humans to Mars. On the way to our next destination, we find many asteroids. We're traversing the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. It contains around 1.9 million asteroids over 1 kilometer in diameter. Some have diameters over 500 kilometers. They are rocky remnants left over from the formation of our solar system. Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system and one of the most spectacular. It has 87,000 miles in diameter, so vast that all the other planets could fit inside of it. It's a monstrous toxic planet with thousands of large hurricanes. Inside, the pressures are extreme. Its immense gravity attracts thousands of asteroids and influences the characteristics of its moons. This monster has great beauty. They look like colorful abstract works of art. Turbulence within the bands creates storms. Giant vortices that break out in the clouds with fierce winds of hundreds of miles per hour. There is one that governs them all. The Great Red Spot, a colossal hurricane, much larger than Earth, that has lasted for hundreds of years, with sustained winds that exceed 400 miles per hour. All of this is just the top of the planet. Inside, conditions get even more extreme. Its atmosphere is very thick and has several hundred miles of depth. Strong winds penetrate thousands of miles down. The Great Red Spot extends down about 180 miles. The temperature and pressure increase the deeper we go. But no matter how far we go down, we will never reach the surface. Further down, the gas becomes thicker and hotter, and eventually it becomes a liquid, an ocean made of hydrogen instead of water. Further down is where things get really strange. Instead of a mantle, like the terrestrial planets, Jupiter has a huge region made of metallic hydrogen. At these extreme pressures, hydrogen undergoes a strange transformation. It can conduct electricity like a metal. It's hotter here than on the surface of the Sun, about 10,000 degrees Celsius. Its large gravitational field holds many moons. It has a total of 79 moons. The ones of greatest scientific interest are the first 4 moons discovered beyond Earth, the Galilean satellites, Io, Europa, Ganymede and Callisto. Io. This colorful moon catches the eye. It has many active volcanoes. It is the world with the highest volcanic activity in the solar system. This is because it's between Jupiter's powerful gravitational pull and the other 2 moons, Ganymede and Europa. a frozen world. Europa is one of the most promising places to find extraterrestrial life. Underneath its icy surface, there is a vast ocean of salt water. Jupiter's gravity is creating friction inside, hitting the ice to turn it into water. Ganymede, the largest moon in the solar system, is even larger than Mercury. Like Europa, it could also have an underground ocean, but much deeper under the surface. Callisto, Jupiter's most distant moon, is an ancient and desolate world full of craters, due to millions of years of asteroid impacts. It could also contain a subsurface ocean. Saturn has captivated our imagination. It's one of the most amazing planets. Not the only one with rings, but none have rings as spectacular and complex as Saturn's. It's a gas giant, the second largest planet in the solar system. From afar, the rings appear solid. But if we get closer, we can see that they are actually made of countless small pieces of water ice. Each particle orbits the planet independently, like millions of small moons. Despite their size, they are incredibly thin. They have an average thickness of about 10 meters. They may have formed when a moon was shattered by a huge collision. Some particles are larger. Some are moons. You can see how they interact with the rings, creating waves while orbiting the planet. When small moons orbit Saturn in slightly inclined orbits, they can create waves in the rings. Tremendous vertical excursions that can reach several miles in height. This gas giant is similar to Jupiter. Inside, the pressures are extreme, and it has many storms. At its north pole, there is a rather strange one, a huge hexagonal vortex. Although it seems quite unusual, vortices like these are common on planets. Saturn's moons are very interesting. This one looks like a planet with an atmosphere. The great moon Titan, the second largest moon in the solar system, larger than Mercury. It's an extraordinary world. It is the only world other than Earth that is known to have liquids in the form of rivers, lakes, and seas on its surface. This moon is icy cold, so cold that gases like methane and ethane are liquids. This world has clouds, rain, rivers, lakes, and seas of liquid hydrocarbons. These lakes and seas may possibly harbor life that uses a different chemistry than what we are used to. That is, life as we do not yet know it. Enceladus. This icy moon has great potential to harbor life. Like Europa, it has an ocean under its surface. Geysers spill water vapor and organic chemicals from that underground ocean into space. From now on, the Earth will be so far away that it will be impossible to see it with a naked eye. These worlds that we will visit have remained hidden throughout history. Uranus, the ice giant, cold and windy. It has one of the strangest climates in the solar system. It has the coldest atmosphere of all the planets, minus 224 degrees Celsius. The pressure inside the planet can break methane molecules, compressing carbon in them so tightly that it forms diamonds that fall to the base of the mantle like sparkling hailstones. The planet is so tilted that essentially orbits the Sun on its side, and also rotates in the opposite direction. It has two sets of beautiful rings. We are getting further and further away from Earth, and we've just begun our journey. We arrive at the furthest planet in the solar system, Neptune, dark, cold, and buffeted by supersonic winds. We are far from the Sun. Here its light is faint, and it takes 4 hours to reach us. Neptune has the fiercest winds in the solar system. These incredible winds lash frozen methane clouds across the planet at supersonic speeds of 1,500 miles per hour. And that's it. The last planet in the solar system. We feel the sun's heat less and less. We see less of its light. We are very far. But there are still several worlds to explore. The dwarf planets. Worlds that are too small to be considered full planets, but too large to fall into smaller categories. There are many dwarf planets orbiting the Sun. We'll visit a couple of them. Pluto, smaller than the Earth's moon, has a glacier shaped like a heart the size of Texas. This fascinating world has beautiful mountainous landscapes, but with red snow. This world is very cold, with temperatures of minus 226 to minus 240 degrees Celsius. Three times farther from the Sun than Pluto, we find Eris. Not much is known about this world, but we know it's extremely cold, dark, and likely has a rocky surface similar to Pluto. We're about 6 billion miles from the Sun. From this distance, sunlight takes over 9 hours to travel from the Sun to us. We haven't even left the solar system yet. It's a small point in the vastness of the cosmos. It's time to leave it behind. Interstellar space.